Hi there, and welcome to the Carolina Farm Stewardship Association Sustainable Agriculture Conference, and this workshop session on farmers working together, collaborative marketing opportunities for small farms and local foods. My name is Roland McReynolds. I'm Executive Director with Carolina Farm Stewardship Association, and really glad to be hosting really two incredible guests here for this session today. I want to introduce to you Susan Pavlin. Susan is a regional food systems builder who works in the Southeast, and her expertise is in cooperative developments, small farm agribusiness and farming operations, nonprofit management, and policy. Her prior projects in sustainable food systems in the region included the launch of Global Growers and the Common Market Southeast, two really important organizations working in Georgia to grow the local food system. Thanks very much for joining us here, Susan. And we also have with us York Glover. York is a founding member and the secretary of the Gullah Farmers Cooperative Association and a retired Clemson University Extension agent. He was actually named CFSA Sustainable Agriculture Agent of the Year for South Carolina in 2009. And his work today is dedicated to creating market opportunities for small farmers in the Low Country. York, thank you very much for being here as well. It's great to speak with you both.
Good to see you again.
Absolutely. So we're going to be talking today a little bit about the Gullah Farmers Cooperative and the work that it's doing and how it is working to support farmers cooperating for market opportunities. The Gullah Farmers Cooperative was founded in 2010 to establish a local food market for its farmer members. And those are farmers who are honoring and continuing the agricultural traditions of the Gullah community of the South Carolina Low Country. So I wanted to start off by asking you both, who are these members of the Gullah Farmers Cooperative Association, and what specifically does the co-op do to support these farmers?
Thank you, Roland. I'll try to address that. The farmers are local farmers, and when I say local, there are four counties that are involved with the membership. Charleston, Colleton County, Beaufort, and Hampton County. And it started with these farmers getting together and deciding that we have an opportunity to do the Farm to School project, something that the Carolina Farm Stewardship has been advocating for years. And so the opportunity presented itself here, and we took advantage of that.
Awesome. And so by organizing these producers to work together. So can you talk a little bit more about what those farm to school markets that you all are currently serving, and have you expanded beyond farm to school?
A little beyond farm to school, but basically we started serving the farm to school at the concept of the organization, and ran into a little bit of problem with facility. And for the last 3 to 4 years, we have been working on acquiring a facility for ourselves. We was fortunate, excuse me, to get a loan with the USDA to renovate an old building that was just sitting here in our community. It was owned by the county, and we were able to work with the county to acquire this building here and to come up with the funding to get the building for this operation. So for the last 4 years, we have not done anything. We've done a little bit of box to school program as a co-op, but really haven't done anything because we didn't have a facility that we could really control and operate for ourselves. Now that we have that, we're looking forward, and the school district is looking forward to us providing them fresh vegetables at this time.
Fantastic. So yes, the launch of this facility itself is going to be a pretty significant deal for the co-op, it sounds like.
Yes. And the amazing part of it is that it's about a little under 10,000 square feet. So wow. There's a lot of room here that we could use to grow. We're probably using about 10-15% of the building for the processing room, and the rest of the building for cold storage and warehousing. So we have a lot of space to actually grow, and we're looking forward to that.
Excellent. And the processing you're talking about. I mean, so I assume. I mean, often the issue with farm to school for many schools is getting the food into the school in a way that's very ready, easy to prepare, quick to prepare for a small kitchen staff. I mean, so is that what you all are experiencing, and is that the processing that you're doing? So what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, let me just, we're going to operate two separate lines of for production. One line is going to be just to wash whole products. For example, we'll wash whole squash, tomatoes, cucumbers, bell pepper, and we can sell that on the wholesale market to the schools or anyone else. And the other line is to actually do some chopping, food-ready products that the school district and anybody else would want, so that it can be readily used, available. And one of the major commodity that we're going to be focusing on, because Beaufort County is doing a salad bar every day, we're going to take on the challenge to provide romaine lettuce to them year round for their operation. The challenging part is going to be probably in the early fall, but our growing season here will probably start mid-October, production mid-October, and we probably can last until May, which is the school year. So that month and a half, 2 months in operation, we may not have romaine lettuce. We may be looking elsewhere to get romaine lettuce, but we're going to try to supply the school district with romaine lettuce every day of their operation. So that's promising for us. And the challenging part for us is trying to grow romaine lettuce year round. So we're working with Clemson Extension at this time, coming up with a calendar, with production schedule. And, just like everything else, weather is going to be a factor, and we're going to see what happens. In the winter months, we're looking at hoop housing, greenhouses, to actually produce the lettuce. But we're going to rely primarily on farmers growing in the field to see how that works out. So the hoop houses will be like a backup to make sure that we have romaine lettuce and other products during the winter months, and then relying on the farmers to come in during the production season, their regular production season. So that's our challenge, and we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I mean, you'll be going head to head with big farms in Arizona and California. Right through the heart of your whole season that you're planning here. That's really exciting.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because one of the factors that has been a plus for us is the freshness. And it has made a difference in the schools where students are actually eating our product, because the teachers don't understand why the kids love our product. And it's really because of the freshness. And California, Arizona cannot produce that. We can do it here. And that's a added benefit for us at this time.
Excellent. And that leads me to another question in terms of the school system or any of the other potential buyers that you've talked to or might be talking to. I mean, are your buyers willing to pay a premium for this being a local fresh product?
Susan can sort of answer that better than I can at this time, because she's been in that area of trying to grow our markets.
Thanks, York.
Right.
And I do want to start out by just saying that the network throughout the Southeast, and particularly in North Carolina and South Carolina, has been incredible. The food hub networks and the folks that have come have been working on building a regional system are really vital. And I mention that because part of getting the premium that is truly due to the local product, the sustainable product, the fresh product from, source identified small family farms. The ability to get that premium to a large extent is based on the work that people have already been doing in this region. So what we know at this point is that that many of the wholesale buyers out there, the schools included, but the schools, some of the hubs, the restaurants, the grocery stores really place a value on being able to source locally and know who the farmers are that are providing the food. Wholesale markets always are a different pricing system than, direct sales or even small roadside stand sales, those kinds of things. But in the wholesale market, I think there's a real opportunity there to push those boundaries and get that premium.
Excellent. So in terms of the seizing those opportunities, you all, the co-op is creating opportunities for its farmers through this processing line, through these facilities that you all are investing in. It also sounds like there's a lot of support that goes into helping your farmer members. That is to say that you're not just setting up the facility and saying y'all come, but you've actually worked with the farmers on production plans and have help get them market ready.
Yes, Carolina Farm Stewardship has really helped us a lot with providing us some training, some technical assistance, particularly with the GAP program, and also looking at our facility, trying to get that ready for what's the terminology?
The facility gap.
Well, yeah.
Sorry.
Good manufacturing practices and
yes, good agricultural practices in the facility. HACCP is
Yes.
term I was looking for, and so that's been very helpful. We also have gotten a lot of financial support from just local churches, as well as other organizations who are really looking at sustainability and trying to assist and promote sustainability in the community. And so we've been very fortunate to have people who are willing to help us in that regard. So, what better way to sustain the environment than to actually farm on it? And so that's been very helpful as well.
Yeah.
And I would just add, it's always a danger to start listing all of the amazing people who've jumped in to help. But as we build our network of farmers, I mean, at the end of the day, many schools, for example, has 22,000 children that are being fed lunch every single day. So the sheer volume of product that needs to pass through here just for that one client or one customer is ultimately going to be pretty high. So we really have valued working with, South Carolina State, Clemson Extension, many of the other organizations that are out there building and supporting opportunities for the local farmers, because ultimately it's that expanded network and being able to plug in a real market opportunity and some of the infrastructure resources that will make or break being able to help support and build up the regional system.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is that like 5,000 pounds of lettuce a day? I mean, that sounds like quite a lot.
It could be quite a lot, yes. And, fortunately, the longstanding partnership with the school system, they've piloted projects with us, with the co-op to get to this place. They're very willing to work with the organization to build up the market. And we've also been fortunate with other hubs and buyers that really understand the challenges of bringing smaller scale farms to the wholesale market. But you're absolutely right. I mean, the sheer volume of what people are interested in buying and potentially willing to buy is actually quite high. And there's a lot of the details in between to make sure things are sorted and packed and meet all of the specifications. But that's part of that education. That's part of that process where the co-op can help support with some middle infrastructure there, but also work with farmers who are interested in expanding or moving into the wholesale market to understand what that really takes, whether it's financial or it's production, all of the different elements that go into it, post-harvest handling.
We are very fortunate in the Carolinas to have the support network you described, Susan, to sort of bring projects like this to life. Also, you also talked about the community support that you're getting, and so I guess that leads to sort of talk. Can you talk a little bit about the Gullah community and what that means? What this co-op means for the Gullah culture and community, and the importance of having a Black-led and Black farmer-serving organization operating in the food systems in the South Carolina Low Country.
That's a good question, Roland. It's essential. There's no question about that. If you go back to history, agriculture has been a major factor in this community here. A lot of small farmers had the opportunity to farm, had an opportunity to supplement their income. And the problem they had over the years has been really access to markets. So that's why this co-op was basically started to provide an access to wholesale markets in the community. The good part about agriculture, farming, particularly small farmers, is that money from small farmers turn around more in this community than any place else. And so if we have many small farmers, we're going to have a very healthy community. It's proven all over the world that when you have a very active farming community among small farmers, you really have a very healthy community, and that's what we're striving for. It also helps with the obtaining the land, making sure the land stays in the family, because the land becomes very valuable in that operation. So that's is giving us that lift, that potential, that hope that we can actually retain property, the land, and also make sure that we are producing from that land. And so the co-op becomes a vital entity in that community to serve this community here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I mean, we're talking about a coastal area. There's lots and lots of development. I mean, and development pressure. I mean, it sounds like the co-op, by playing that economic role in the community, is helping to give an alternative to more just going to hotels and arcades.
Yes, and one of the things that this community has said over the years, because we're just going through our comprehensive plan for the county, this community said we want this community to remain rural. We do not want it to look as an urban community. We want it to remain rural. And if in order for that to happen, you got to have some means for that to produce, become economically viable in a community. Farming can serve that purpose along with other things, but agriculture is a key commodity in a rural community. And that's what we're hoping to demonstrate and to show that you can actually, you're not going to get rich, but you can basically stay alive and benefit. And one of the other aspects, and I'll just throw this in there at this time, is that in addition to the production part, we have enough land here that we could actually start looking at putting up a small kitchen so that our farmers can also come in here with their okra and start processing or preserving their okra, with pickle okra. I mean, I love it. I buy it. And so we grow it here. Why can't we add value to those products? Jams, we value to those products and stuff. And we're looking at that as, further down the road. But we want to add this area here to be a very productive part of the community and something that farmers, as well as their wives, their spouses, can come in and add value to their product.
Okay. Wow. So a lot of continuing plans to
Yes.
expand market opportunities.
Yes.
That's fantastic. You've talked somewhat about some of the obstacles, at least sort of the hurdles that you have overcome in terms of raising financing and developing market opportunities. What do you see going forward as the biggest obstacle that the co-op is aiming to address with these market development initiatives?
Sorry, every day is full of a new challenge, whether it's the compressor on the cooler that has broke down or anything like that. So there's lots of things. However, I would say that probably the biggest challenge is common to working in this wholesale world and building up kind of the regional food system, in that a lot of farmers have been farming for a long time and they're extraordinary farmers, but they haven't necessarily had to pack and sort and set up all of their product to move into the wholesale market. And many of those wholesale markets can be a little bit unforgiving, right? That if you deliver product and it doesn't, that your cucumbers are a ½ inch longer than they're supposed to be or something like that, you can really, fail in your connection between the farmers and the buyers. And so I think that one of the things that we're really working hard to do is build in the resources to help everyone do the best they can in the post-harvest handling and the packaging, and then getting therefore the very best price we can from our customers. So I think that's a key thing. And then I think the other thing, and York, you can speak more to this, but is making sure that we're bringing in to this conversation and to this opportunity new farmers or young farmers who are looking to expand and build their resources, in part because there's a viable economic opportunity.
Yeah. One of the things I would add to what Susan just said is that, I like the product not necessarily uniform or unified, because people see that as part of the system of tomatoes or cucumbers, etc. So I think one of the key factors for us is actually branding and our product, so that even though it may not fit into a normal marketing scheme, people are demanding that product from us. And so that's going to be one of the challenges. How do we brand our product so that customers will ask for it when they go to the store? So that's going to be a factor, and that's going to take some time to establish. But we have to work on branding our product. What was the other one? The latter one.
New farmers.
Essential. There's no question about that. New, younger farmers are essential, and we have to work with the universities to do some training with our younger farmers. But one of the things I think is essential in that whole process is that farmers got to believe that they can make a living, and if we can demonstrate that here, I think we shouldn't have a major problem bringing young farmers in. I can tell you that I've reached 3 and 10, and I'm the youngest member right now in the
Oh,
co-op.
wow.
So
Okay.
we got to really start bringing in younger farmers, and we have some interest there, and we just need to expand that to have more younger farmers brought into the organization. And not only in this area, but and when I look at a region, we're looking at probably 75 to 100 miles away shouldn't be a major problem.
Sure.
One of the things that we had a chance to go up to North Carolina and visit a co-op up there, and they have what is called Susan, where they bring in they're lending the farmers
micro lending. Oh, the tool bank. The tool bank.
Oh,
that's
right.
where they can go out and have the refrigerated truck.
Oh yeah, so refrigerated trucks and other
Right.
field equipment that.
Right. So the co-op would actually own it, but when it's time for production, a farmer can come with a refrigerated trailer and go in his field and harvest and then bring it back. So we keep that quality there, and that can happen in a radius of 100 miles easily because the field heat is then taken out, allow it to come here to be processed, and then put into the market at that time. The turnaround time we're looking for is, with the schools, we were able to harvest the one day, and the next day it was actually on the plate.
Awesome.
So that's it is an awesome to be able to do that. Freshness is what we want to promote, and that's the key for our operation because the quality is there.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're turning it around that fast, the quality is just going to be superb. So that's a great point, and that does lead me to my last question here, and that is and sort of about how you all ensure that you're accountable to your farmer members, right? And I'm not talking about bylaws here, but just as an example of the shared tools, right? I mean, what happens when two people need the same tool the same day to get their crop out of the field? How do how would that kind of decision be made? How do you all ensure that the voice of every farmer participating is represented and the individual needs of individual farms are accounted for in all this?
That's going to be a challenging one, because resources are very limited at this time. We're going to schedule production so that every farmer is not producing on the same day. Now, that doesn't mean that the weather would not be a factor, because when the weather is a factor, particularly with something like broccoli, when we know it's going to freeze that night or a couple of days, trying to get as much of that broccoli out of the field, that can be a challenge. And we would have to rely on all the resources that come to bear at that time to accommodate that. We do have 3 coolers here with a limited capacity, but we also have we're able to fortunate to buy a reefer trailer. So there's a lot of capacity there that we can actually assist. And once that runs out, and we don't know what to tell a farmer, but we will do all we can to actually assist in helping our farmers, and it's based on the actually ability of our resource, and it's not going to be done on a we will have to have no respect of person. So we have to do the best we can to make sure that the smaller guy, who is the newer guy, maybe the new guy in the operation, get the same attention that everybody else would receive. So that's a challenge a lot of times, but we have to have that principle going forward.
Awesome.
And I would just tag on to, part of the real exciting thing about being a cooperative is that a lot of work goes into determining how the cooperative operations are going to prioritize things, what resources are going to be selected and activated first, second, third. And all of that's done through a process of regular meetings of the cooperative members. And I don't want to get too technical or boring here, but developing written policies so that everybody understands and agrees to and builds consensus on how things are going to be approached. And really working towards, for example, right now, we might have an order for a particular, like, say, okra, and we have more okra being produced in the field than we have to fill that order. So we all have to get together and agree, the farmers have to agree, how do they want to manage that situation? Do they create a rotational selling operation, or how do they do it? And I think that groundwork in building the policies and the systems, while it doesn't feel like the most glamorous thing in the whole operation, is really critical in building that trust, and the fact that the farmers currently in the membership have been working together for many years to get to the point that they are today makes a big difference.
Yeah, and I would just add, the key is, when Susan used the word trust, we have to establish that, and we can have policies on paper, but if we don't adhere to those policies, then farmers. We start losing farmers because we start losing credibility. We got to apply the policy to everyone, and we have to basically try to be fair to everyone. And those are issues that to adhere to all the time. But we have to be as fair and develop that trust with our farmers that we are going to do the best thing and the right thing for everybody.
Yeah.
So those are challenges.
For sure.
But we have to do it.
Yeah. In any kind of economic relationship where people are partnering together, they have to have trust that each one will be taken care of. But you all have been laying a lot of groundwork for a long time to get to this place where people are willing to make this leap.
Yeah, and we're not there yet. We're still thriving every day. I think one of the plus, Susan has developed a meeting. We hadn't met in a while, but where we would meet physically every 2 months, and in between we'll have a telephone conversation with everybody, all the farmers, all the members talking. It just developed that relationship, and they can actually see that we're trying to make progress, and that they are committed and will become committed. And because of that, we have gotten the interest of some of the younger farmers who are really wanting to be a part of. As a matter of fact, we just recently had an additional young farmer who's not a member at this time, will be a member, but he's not a member at this time because we're going through what you basically talked about earlier, policies and bylaws. We want to make sure that we got our bylaws right as we bring in new members, so everybody will be on board. But he just got GAP certified, and he hopefully will be participating in production, even though he's not a member.
Awesome.
But we're going to try to fold him in at some point in time. We have to, because he's one of the younger farmers. Yeah. So
got to get those folks in, and I think it's inspiring to me that you all are creating this model, starting with this core of experienced and longtime farmers, but with this mission of bringing in new farmers, and that it's something it seems as though it's more than a business opportunity. It's a community support opportunity, and that is attractive to today's young people. So I hear. So it's just really exciting to hear you all kind of share the story of how you've gotten here and what the vision is. It's really, really wonderful work. CFSA, we've been thrilled to be able to support it. I know, as you say, there's just a huge network of other organizations and people and a community that are coming together in this, and it's just very inspiring for the rest of our sustainable ag community in the Carolinas. Is there anything else that you all wanted to close with, or closing remarks that we haven't kind of touched on yet that are significant for you all as you pursue this work?
I'll just close by saying that the networks that get built in the community and the trust, in building relationships with new farmers and building those relationships with buyers and customers are really the heart of what is going to make this successful. And we really appreciate everyone who has stepped up, and look forward to meeting those of you that are interested in learning more. And also hope that the co-op can be a place where others can explore building co-ops and building systems and process as well, in business in the future. So we're excited to get to know everybody and to build those relationships.
I will close, Roland, with, we've thank you. Thank your leadership at your organization, and being an organization that can fill the gap in our community, and having personnel out in the field. I think that's essential. I can't tell you how valuable that has been for us. And so we want to first, thank you, thank your organization for being foresighted in providing that type of support. The other thing that I want to talk about is how valuable farming has become to a community, and continue for you to lift that, and not only to lift the farming part, because the production has always been there, but the marketing aspect. And your org has been working with networking hubs around the state, and I think those are going to be valuable tools for small farms. We can get it to one hub, and that hub can get it to another hub, so that within a short order of time, a product can actually be on the table or in a restaurant. And I think those are essential elements that we can create among ourselves through your organization, through the states, providing that type of marketing outlet for organizations, for farmers. The other thing is that I just want to highlight how valuable it is when farmers, co-ops are getting started in a community, for them to make sure that they network with all their local government. It's essential. When we got started, we made sure that we had city government, county government, school district, agencies, all sitting at the table talking about a goal, a direction for the farmers, and getting their support, because it's so essential that local government be a part of you, and because they can get access to resources that you will never even know about. But if they are supporting you, then you will have those resources available to you. And I can tell you that it has worked well in Beaufort County for the farmers. And this building is a classic example of that, having that support from the local government. So I think it's essential. Don't want to get into partisan, because I've worked with both Democrats, independents, and Republicans in our effort. And long as you got a good product, a good idea, I think the support will be there. And I think just want to make sure that people, when they get started, make sure they get involved with their local government as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for making that plug, York, because we couldn't agree more at CFSA about the importance of people engaging at the local level on policy to support sustainable local agriculture. You're right on point. Everything that you all are your work is an amazing exponent of what happens when these networks and resources that exist across our region are leveraged with intention and consciousness. and conscientiousness. And again, we're just thrilled at CFSA to be able to contribute to your efforts to support your farmers, and we're really just thrilled to have an organization like yours operating in this region and shining a light or on a path forward for how agriculture can sustain our rural communities and preserve the culture that people are seeking when they're trying to connect with local foods. So this is awesome. I'm just so grateful for the chance to talk with the both of you. Thank you all for taking the time. And we will look forward to chatting further in a live Q&A session during the conference, the live portion of the conference later on this month. So thank you so much. Have a great morning, and we'll look forward to talking again.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roland.
Sure thing.